It is a rainy, sleety, snowy day here in New York City. As I look out my window, it is gray skies. It is gray outside. It's slushy outside. I went as usual. As usual, my morning started. I went outside. I knew it was going to be like sleet, snow, and slushy, but it is sleet, snow, and slushy. So I just bared with it. It's not good. I decided to come live and greet my beautiful supporters and listeners. Welcome to my channel, Insight and Perspective with Bronx Girl. I am your host, and I am here this morning because I have time. It is a Thursday. It is February 6th. It's not a slow start to the morning, but this is a morning live where I wanted to just have a little bit fun. And this is my faceless black screen live, and if you are here joining me, I appreciate you. Just sit back and listen and relax. You don't have to do nothing too extravagant, but your presence here is appreciated. And if you are here and you coming in and you just joining the live as a token of appreciation, which I would greatly appreciate if you were to just hit the like button, and either you like it or you don't. Either way, it would be great for me. I appreciate that. And if you've seen the title, I like to stoke the egos of men, like stoke, uh, 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 play with the ego of men of the world today. And this is 2025 where I feel like men should be put in a place, and a lot of men may take that definitely wrong. Hey, Bronx, listening and working. Hi, Lasagna. How are you? I want Lasagna to listen and work, and I don't want to disturb or distract you. So, you take it slow and you enjoy the live, and I appreciate you greeting me in the live. It is greatly appreciated. I guess that's my warm up. That's for me to warm up so quickly. I love my supporters. They warm me up. They don't cut no corners. They be like, get to it, girl. We ain't got all day. Lasagna said, oh boy. No, it's that, yeah, oh boy. Where like, I've just been like, I guess I'm gonna start off with like, this is not to show hatred towards men or even just make men feel like they are second class. This is not a live to create insecurity in men. This is not alive to take away from men's pain and suffering that they thoroughly go through on a daily basis. And society has put the image and idea in these men head that suffer in silence every day. Not all men, some men have grown and graduated from that point. And when I say graduated, I'm trying to be funny, of course. Ha, ha, ha. Like some men have gained the responsibility of knowing that there is a problem, and they fix that problem. And that's okay. These things take time. But what I would like to also state is that this is a live from me to the men to put you in your place, I guess in a healthy way. Like, I guess if I was to stroke your ego, something that you would admire and appreciate, if I was just solely stroking your ego to make you feel validated and admired, this is the live for you. I think this will be live, will like influence you or at least encourage you and show a sign of support that women can be harsh and evil and a witch and mean, but could we also can nurture, and that's not my strategy. I'm just like, I want every man that come in here and woman to come in here to feel a little bit comfortable and at least listen to things from my insight and my perspective. This is what this live is about, from me pointing out things from my insight and my perspective. And also, I would like to tell the men, everyone is accepted in here. I know that we have a new set of creatures that is real. They're not fake incels. You are welcome in here. And I welcome with you with open arms because I feel like you desire and you need the hugs the most. So while I put you in your place, because there are things that's going on in the world with men and women, it's like a gender war that I feel this is the live Me personally, I feel this is the live that probably would just jumpstart into something different. And men could listen to a different perspective and insight, even if they lack comprehension skills, they'll get the idea. I won't be, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert. But to get the day started off, Irv Gotti, music producer, mogul, has died at the age of, that was so sad, 54. Right? He was 54. Irv Gotti is dead, died at the age of 54. That should be a little bit more eye opening to men that Irv Gotti, if you know Irv Gotti, if you listen to his music, if you know of him, if you know that he was a music mogul, a producer, his name does ring bells, that he died yesterday at the age of 54. That's really scary and sad at the same time that Irv Gotti has died at the age of 54. 54 years old, really young. That's really, really young. And I guess that brings me to this point where men are dying and have been dying lately, recently, in the past few years in their 50s and 40s, right? That should just put life in a whole different perspective, in a whole different light, in a whole different mindset. Even though I guess he had his struggles along the way, he was sick, so it wasn't like he just died suddenly of natural causes. I don't know if his death it will be deemed or considered natural causes, but it's really sad. I wasn't a fan of Irv Gotti. I personally thought that he was a little bit too silly for me in that he did not take things seriously. As a woman, I don't think I'll be attracted. Well, as a woman speaking, I'm not attracted to silly, goofy men. And of course, you have to be fun and exciting and have some type of sense of humor. But everything he said or did in the moment that I saw him do it, I felt like he was a little bit goofy, and I don't like goofy men. And maybe that was just like a defense mechanism or a coping mechanism for Irv Gotti for his insecurities. I think he was or he did suffer from diabetes, and diabetes is a serious issue. It has its ups and downs. He did not, and I just will be jumping to conclusions saying that he did not treat or care for himself properly or in a healthy, decent way. And these are the results. But aside from Irv Gotti dying at the age of 54, so young, so soon, that should give a little men a little more insight into at least consider having a healthier lifestyle. Now, Irv Gotti died at the age of 54. He was young. He was known. He was a public figure. He was a music mogul. He was a husband at one point in time. He was a father. He is a son. He was a friend. I mean, come on, right? So he died young. Could it have been prevented? Maybe. Did we know what was going inside of his personal life? No. I'm not going to even touch on him and his little outbursts or his public outbursts about his personal life, about Ashanti, because that's not what I'm not here to gossip about Ashanti and Irv Gotti. I felt like they both had they hand in their relationship. No one is innocent at all. But I guess what I was a little bit confused about, and I usually don't get confused, or I guess I am too pride to admit. I mean, I have too much pride to admit that. Of course, I can be confused, but I believe what I want to say is directly and open and honestly is like 50 Cent response to or remarks to Irv Gotti dying. Like I was reading comments because I know 50 has like a filthy mind, a filthy way of thinking, a fixed mindset. He may be rich and famous, but there are like millions of insecurities that he hide and that he's ashamed of. So Irv Gotti dying, and I'm pretty sure Irv Gotti did not have 50 Cent on his mind when he was dying, but 50 Cent couldn't contain himself or did lack discipline to respect his death and respect Irv family and privacy. So I believe people were saying on YouTube, I mean, not YouTube, but I was reading where they were saying that 50 Cent was responding and he was in the right to make fun of Irv Gotti dying because allegedly somewhere, some way back in the past, that Irv was responsible for 50, I don't know, um, being, I don't know, shot. I don't know how true that is. But even if Irv Gotti was responsible for these outlandish and wild allegations that people are saying that that's the reason why 50 was making fun of him, it doesn't make sense to me. It just goes to show you that men are projecting more hate and hostility more now than ever. Like 50 is the prime example of a man that is deceitful and he's very deceitful. And I say that in a way because of his principles and his values and his morals that he want to portray to the world. Right? So when a man tells me, and I'm going to be open and honest, and this is me putting a man in their place in this live, that when a man tell me, any man, and I'm not going to hold it against them, when a man like 50 Cent, who shows that he's insecure and that he cover up a lot of shame and that he can't be open and honest with himself because he is so quick to respond to something that he don't like. He has so much say so. He has so much feedback. He has so much criticism. He is so harsh. He is so close-minded towards other people. But the same criticism and the same harshness that is directed towards him, he is ready to crumble. He crashes out quickly. For someone that 50 Cent who shared to the world that he is celibate. I don't know if he is celibate in a religious way or this is a religious practice for him. Either way, and he's cheap. This speaks highly to his character, his characteristics. Someone that's supposed to have principles and morals and values, and someone that is have growth and has grown and has excelled in his life and made great progress and made great strides and changed the way people look at rap. Or because I used to love 50 Cent. Like when I was younger, I was obsessed with him. And if there was a word obsessed, and when you say, what do you mean, Brown Scary, you was obsessed with 50 Cent? I was obsessed in a way where I had, and this is when he came out with Ride or Die, Go Shorty, that the club popping music that he was putting. I used to have pictures of him on my wall, like 6 pictures of 50 Cent and a little shrine of him. It wasn't like nothing scary, but I liked him. I was attracted to him. Like I knew he wasn't like, oh my goodness, he's so handsome, he's so gorgeous. But he did portray an ounce of confidence that women would be attracted to. If a man has great confidence, he portrays confidence. If he appears to be confident, he appears to have a sense of humor and thoughtful, and he's thoughtful of other people and considerate of other people's thoughts and opinions. That's what he was when I was attracted to him. But over time, it's slowly and it has diminished completely. I'm not attracted to him. I don't find anything he say is funny. I don't think he's humorous. I think he hide behind a persona that he don't want anyone ever to know about. I don't think he want his mask to fall off, but his mask do fall off every time he speaks. Right? He just can't sit back and watch the show. He has to be a part of it. I think it was really like indecent for 50 Cent to so jump up so suddenly and so quickly to have a remark about Irv Gotti's death. Right? We know that there is something deeply lurking, and we can only speculate. I'm not here to diagnose. I'm only speculating that 50 Cent may suffer from, a personality disorder. And I'm not here to sound like I'm so smart or I am a doctor because I have my inner demons too, so to speak. Hey, Original Lou, I'm good. I'm just chatting with the audience about putting men in their place in this live, and hopefully I will get some new subscribers based on what I say and how I say it. But I was talking about Irv Gotti, him passing, and which is a sad moment in hip hop history. It is very sad because he just did not come from the ground up like yesterday. He worked his way to where he was at to 54. 54 is pretty young. And 54 is pretty sad to die at. But I just feel like with men, like the aggression and anger and emotions that 50 Cent project and present to the world, it's like a deeper issue, and it's something that can be looked at and acknowledged. I don't. It's not solely about 50 Cent and what he did. It's just about the lies that people say the society has perpetrated these lies and made men think they are more logical than women and less emotional, when men are more emotional and they are weaker than women, if you want to put it side by side. Good, happy to be in your life. Thank you, Original Lou. I appreciate that. And when I say this, I mean this, right? Um, I think 50 Cent could have had a little bit more decency and discretion about what he say. But Irv Gotti is not special in this moment because he speaks about everyone when he has a thought that pops up into his head. He shares his opinions, and there are men that look up to 50 Cent. Because I was talking to one, and I was like, "Oh, what you listening to?" He's like, "Oh, I was listening to 50 Cent." I thought, I guess I jumped to conclusions and I automatically assumed he was listening to 50 Cent spew his little stupidity, but he probably was listening to his music. I said, "Oh, you listen to 50 Cent?" He said, "Yeah, I listen to 50 Cent. There's nothing wrong with 50 Cent." I said, "I don't like 50 Cent." He's like, "Oh, why you don't like him?" I said, "Well, for one, he's celibate, and for two, he's cheap." That speaks about his characteristics, that stinginess, that selfishness. Men get off of being stingy and selfish. That's why I don't date cheap men in any aspect. I mean, if you cut costs and you cut costs on certain things, and you save in here and you spend there, yeah. But to say that you are cheap and you don't spend money on women and don't spend money on women, and then on top of that you say you are celibate, is definitely something wrong with you. And I'm not going to sit here and say what is wrong with him, but because it's obvious that he does suffer and he hide who he is from the world, which of course we all do. Nobody knows the real 50, nobody knows the real Bronx girl. But we all know, and we should do at least, you know, um, consider that 50 Cent, and that's just not 50 Cent, a person of his magnitude, a person of his stature, and not even of his stature of magnitude. That's why when I say I want to put men in a place, like for once, can y'all at least think about the things that you do and say to the people that you do and say it? It's really scary out here in 2025 and for the last couple of years when incels have grown to a reasonable amount of creatures. And I say incels are creatures because we are all considered creatures, but incels are quite different. They are quite special. They are different from the average man. And I've learned that all incels don't hate women, but most of them do. And I don't know if it's hard for me to say 50 Cent is an incel, but if I had to portray and describe him as one, many people would think he is an incel, a grown ass man incel that has money, that has the opportunity to share his wealth, to make some woman happy. But he is so deeply selfish and rooted inside that he don't have anyone like in particular that he take aim at. He take aim at everyone. He take aim at women. He take aim at men. He's not prejudiced or he doesn't discriminate when he takes aim at people. So everyone that is in his crossfire all get the same round. And that's what I mean by that. And when I say put men in a place, like, some men have to sit back and realize, like, maybe it could just be you, your ways. Stop blaming women for your lack of responsibility. Stop blaming women for when things don't go right in your life. Women are not here to save men. They're not. We're not. I think I was a little bit disturbed more by 50 Cent because Irv Gotti died so young, and he was 54 years old, and 50 Cent couldn't wait to make a comment to show that he doesn't care. Okay, you don't care, you don't care. But that goes to show you that men don't really have any type of discipline, or men are told and built in a society, and a society was created for them to lead with their masculinity and their dominance and their control and their fear, right? That's what they want to appear as this macho man with so much bravado. And when I look at 50 Cent and other men that act like him and not even probably close to him, but they have similarities as 50 Cent do, and as he portrayed to the world, all of his insecurities that he project on innocent people on a daily basis, that goes to show that no man is special. Men are not special. Women are not special too. I'm not here to say that all men, because I don't feel like I have to indicate that or imply that. I think the audience should gather that just by reasoning, right? There are, and I don't place men. Yeah, I guess I am now. I have to if I'm gonna go all the way with this live, is place men in certain categories. But if we are, because there are categories that people place men in. I don't place men in categories because I personally don't feel men is special. Like, the only way I will feel if you are special to me is, okay, we, of course, if we develop a friendly, healthy relationship or commitment that will be long term, yeah, you're special to me because I gave a little bit more than what I would give to anyone else. But we as women today in this society in 2025 in Trump's presidency have to be a little bit more careful about how we proceed with men, right? Men that don't have a grip of their life, men that suffer in silence, because men do suffer in silence. They suffer silently. They do. They are not equipped, or they not even allowed to discuss how they suffer in silence. I have seen this and witnessed this with my own personal eyes. I said eyes, but I have been the victim and on the receiving end of men and their aggression and their anger and their hostility towards women. We are not here to save men at all. There are men that can be saved, and there are men that want to be saved. At the same time, men, they want and they crave love and affection and cuddle, and they want attention. They want, they may have lust in their heart, but they repress it because people, they are being taught and they have been told and they have been brainwashed to think like, if you have lust inside of your heart, you are a bad person. I like lustful men personally, right? I'm a lustful person myself. I think that lust in the beginning stages of relationships creates or can hurt a relationship. Like, the lust stages is the where you'll know in small interactions, getting to know the person, you, man and woman, whoever, same sex, I don't discriminate. And that lustful exchange and that lustful interaction with the men that I'm like, because I don't want a relationship, I don't want to settle down, not right now. I don't want nothing taken away from me. I don't want my ego destroyed. It's big. I don't want my sexiness destroyed. I don't want my healthy mindset destroyed by a angry, aggressive, hostile man. And not all the guys I meet are angry and hostile and show aggression. They hide it very well until you start questioning them. But what I'm saying is, in the lustful stages of relationships, in the beginning stages of the relationship, the love bombing stages of the relationship, because there's nothing wrong with love bombing. I guess it's the intent behind it. Like, of course, if you meet someone, we as women, we do desire, we do need certain there are certain requirements and qualifications for me and other women out there that are not brave enough to speak out, that we are immune to, or no, I guess that we desire, not immune, desire, right? So you're not going to be naive or gullible, because that's where it gets kind of hectic in the beginning stages with the love bombing stages. Expect to be love bombed and expect to be manipulated. Of course, everyone has to manipulate each other. And I'm not talking about in a way, in a malicious, dirty, downright way to manipulate to get what you want. No, I'm talking about in a way where it's received on both ends. And in that lustful stage for me, like, of course you're looking for red flags, because red flags show in a lustful stage. It does. That's how we as women should make a determination, like, yeah, embrace the lustful stage, embrace the beginning stage, embrace the honeymoon stage, embrace the feel good part stage, but don't lose your integrity. Make sure the man has integrity. Make sure the man stands on his principles and values and have slight of decent morals, right? That's how we make the determination if we want to pursue or go further with the relationship or not. Don't be scared to speak up, women. Ask questions. Ask plenty of questions. Because now men, as I put them in a place, like, I don't know how you can portray yourself as this logical, decent, dominant, aggressive leader, and you can't take questions from the audience. And then when I say audience, I'm just talking about your supporters, your followers. If you are a leader, that means you come first. If you are a leader, that means you take responsibility for the whole team feeling. Of course, we all have to pitch in and say and agree to, like, yes, I could have did this a little bit better. But I'm talking about as a man, when you stand up here before the world, pat yourself on the back, bump your chest, pump out your chest, saying, I am a man. I will be respected. You will obey me. I will lead. I am the man in this relationship. What I say goes. I make the sole decisions. You will depend on me and my decisions to make this work. You will be codependent. Those are the men that exist, and these are the men that women fall for, because women have in their mind that men are supposed to lead and they're supposed to follow, or women have in their mind that they don't supposed to express what they want to the man they're with. You know what I mean? Or it may seem difficult, or she may be difficult when she say, listen, I know what I want and I know what I don't want, sir. I know I don't want to be with an aggressive man. When I say aggressive, I mean a man that has the intentions on making me fear him, because once he says something and once he do something, that's it, that's all. I don't want to be with a man, and we all women, I'm speaking for the women, and when I say me, and I'm talking about we as women that don't want to appear as difficult, because I can appear as difficult all the time. We as women, me as a woman, don't want to be with a man where I have to walk on eggshells because you say that you are the lead in a relationship. So that means I have to put your needs first before mine. I'm not willing to, like, sign up for that. I'm not going to accept that. Right? So this is where, the lust come in. So in that lust stage, you just hit them with what you want. Like, hey, listen, you know what? I was thinking, like, I like the way this is going. Let's take our time. Let's slow it down. Let's get to know one another. Let's be friends. Let's be real friends. Let's get to know our likes and dislikes. That's going to take some time. I don't think I can be an open book right now. I can't give you the vulnerability that you're looking for so you can take advantage of. Like, no. These are what men expect, for women to be so vulnerable, like, and so naive and gullible, so they can easily manipulate women. I'm not saying that we as women, I have been played, I have been manipulated, I have got. But I learned from my experiences. So every man that has manipulated me and played me, so to speak, hurt me. I have been stung, I've been hurt, but I have never been heartbroken, because, like, before a man, like, if a man sting you, of course he's going to hurt you. If he hurt you, he's going to break your heart. So in between the stinging and heartbreak, I let the hurt reside. And then I'm like, nah, you know what? This is not going to work. I'm not attracted to you no more. You're not a decent person. You're not a good person. I would never consider a man a good man unless he is a good man, unless he's just a jolly green giant that where he stands out, that people know that yeah, he's a jolly green giant because he's a good person, he's a good man. That's why he stands out. So in those lustful stages, in the beginning stages, like some women, and I'm not trying to bash women, but this is me more about me putting men in their place than bashing women. Men, you need to take in consideration, or at least try to think or try to capture a healthy mindset that if you were to be friends with a woman starting off, it would be better for you. Like if you can't be friends with a woman, of course there has to be a sexual attraction there. Of course there has to be emotional and emotional and intellectual attraction emotionally, sexually, intellectually there. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with being friends and starting off as friends in the very beginning of the relationship. It's nothing wrong with being sexually attracted to the person that you are friends with and trying to get to know. Trying to get to know their dislikes, their likes, their wants and their needs. There's nothing wrong with that, men, at all. I think that'll be a great thing for you. But this bravado, macho man personality, persona that you put on and you portray to the world, it just shows that you are a man of weakness. And then men that shows how weak they are easily manipulated. I'm not saying use that against them. I'm not saying to the women in the audience that's listening is use men weakness against them, knowing what they're crying out for, knowing what they need. Give it to them, take it back. Give it to them, take it back. Not so they could solely depend on what they need from you, but to let them know and at least at some point in time, let their guard down. You have to be a certain type of woman to let and to help a man let his guard down because they have him up. And I feel like once men realize that they have let their guard down and they show women they let their guard down, that's when the guards go back up and they think, oh, this is where I need to come in and overpower her. I was dealing with a guy, and when I say dealing, I know a guy. I know a lot of men that I have never even got far with. But in the process of getting to know these guys, being in the quarter, and then when I hear men say certain languages like, oh, I don't date single mothers, like I already know he's kind of like uneducated because like you'd rather date a married woman than a single mother. So when you say single, because you know that single means that she's not married. I don't understand. So if you say I don't date women with children, I understand that. But to say single woman just goes to show your mindset is vulgar and you are using a single woman in a slur term. So getting back to me, so this guy, we was talking and everything, and he had his, he showed red flags, but sometimes red flags are not always red flags. So like if he yells and screams, like not like in a scary way, but he yells and screams, I'm like, okay, maybe he just talk loud or he's excited, expressing himself. But at the same time, he know how to answer a question and he answers a question. Or he shows a little bit interest and asks me a question, I answer it. At the same time, he's going on a tirade or a rant about, you've seen one woman, you've seen them all. I'm like, okay, maybe he's just a little bit lonely. And he don't know that, yeah, all women are different. How you want to see one ass and blame it and compare it to all asses? That just doesn't make no sense. I didn't say that to him. Or we could be talking and he plead out for me for my affection and my attention, and I give it to him, and then he get a little bit awkward and shy that I'm giving him the attention that he want. Or we talking on the phone and like he criticizes and every word that I say, like I'm not using the word that I'm speaking about or using in the sentence in this correct context, right? Or he don't curse, But I curse. And I let him know, listen, just because you don't curse, that don't mean I can't curse. It's okay for him to think that he's a good person because he don't curse, but it's not okay for him not to think that, oh, by your criticisms, your nitpicking, you poking at me every chance you get is not a sign of narcissism. And I say that just to say a buzzword, right? That's how he was. Or or we just didn't have the same topics in mind. He told me he was a God-fearing man, and usually when men say that they are God-fearing men, I feel like they are God-fearing men, but they are allowed to break the law. That's how I feel, and that's what he presented. Like, oh, I'm a God. The only thing I fear is God. He respected my beliefs as far as any beliefs that I have. I respected his beliefs, but his, like, because he grew up in a world, or he grew up in a society, he grew up in a home, he grew up in a community where church and God come first in his life. He expect to meet every woman with that same idea, But I did tell him, like, as time went by, we talked, and I guess, he felt like, I don't know what point in time he thought that he had me open and vulnerable. Like, while I'm being open and vulnerable, I'm still being aware. And in certain incidents, I guess, in certain stages where a man feel like he could point out a weakness in a woman, especially if someone like me is like, okay, well, I'm doing the same thing you doing. I'm pointing out your weakness and trying to use it against you. Like, he intentionally ignored me for a week. I said, I know what you're doing. If you don't call me for a week, that's okay. We're not in a relationship. We're not married. We're not together. We're getting to know each other. Although I knew him for like 12 years and nothing ever happened, because I mean, even though he's a nice looking, decent guy, I wasn't attracted to how his, like, cockiness and his cockiness and arrogance was not even like, was not even charming. It was like more of like a turnoff. So, we got to know each other, and then we just came to the point where, no, I don't like you. You don't like me. Don't call me. Don't call. I won't call you. We're not, it's not even about us being compatible. It's like you told me in so many ways that you would never put an effort into being friends or relationship. Like, he told me that, and I don't know if anyone know me in the audience, but this is a big part of me, like, being turned off by men and telling women that you don't hang out, you don't have friends, you go home after work. Just because you have a good job and you have a decent job and you don't feel like you have anything else to contribute to society, I'm not attracted to that. I'm not attracted to men that doesn't have ambition. So when men usually tell me that they are homebodies, and I'm like, that's just a red flag to me all the way. Right? Um, it is a red flag to me, because there's nothing appealing about being a homebody. I'm not saying that you should have the thrill and excitement all day, every day, but at least show some I don't know, at least show that you are willing to do something outside and think outside the box. So, it didn't occur to me until now that, men that suffer in silence, and they suffer with loneliness, and they think it's a great idea to suffer, because they think they're going to be rewarded for suffering. You're not going to be rewarded. Only person you are, excuse me, is hurting yourself. I meet men that's not healthy, that don't take care of themselves, that don't drink tea or coffee. I had one guy say, I don't drink anything hot at all. He eats at 11 o'clock at night after he get off of work. He was eating, cooking heavy loads of shit. This is a man that was diabetic, still drinking, smoking, had a wild life. Not, and I said wild night. Like, he had wild nights where he's up cooking excess food, heavy food that he go to sleep on. So, like, this is what I'm saying, where I put men in their place. How is it that you expect a woman to be so perfect, to be so appealing, to be so alluring, and meet your expectations and your high standards, but you don't even come halfway? You're not even willing to sacrifice, so to speak, because I don't sacrifice and I don't compromise for no one. That's not something that is embedded or that's like in my DNA. It's for me to compromise and sacrifice. I don't think I have ever sacrificed anything for anybody. Like in certain ways, if you want to say, well, okay, I sacrifice this because, it makes my children happy, or I sacrifice this because it may make him, but to make that a point and a focal point in a relationship, no, or compromise. That means I'm second guessing myself. That means I'm putting myself second, right? If you compromise in a relationship, all you're doing is putting the person first. A man say, oh, I want to lead. I'm supposed to lead. I'm the man. But they don't lead with integrity. They don't lead with compassion. They lack empathy. A lot of men get offended when you say you don't have emotional intelligence. Just face the facts that you lack emotional intelligence, that you don't have it in you to give to someone else. You don't have empathy in you, right? I usually ask men, and men need to consider this. If a woman asks you questions, if you're not willing to answer the questions that she asking you, just say, this is not going to work. Like some men don't want to be questioned. Why is that you don't want to be questioned? What type of woman am I or any other woman would think of a man as a leader if he can't answer simple questions as to pose like, oh, what do you like to do? What do you like to do for fun? What do you do to have fun? They can't even answer this question. Or, oh gosh, I guess I could share this story. I knew one guy. I judged him based on his beard. A lot of men, you sit there, you talk about women with wigs. Like, I feel like women, no, I know women could wear whatever they want. If you have a problem, men with women wearing wigs, don't even look her way. That should not be a point of conversation about a woman, a black woman, especially wearing wigs or weaves. Like that thinking right there just goes to show me that you have nothing else to talk about. And then when men judge women based on what they wear, how they wear, and thinking that they have the authority and control and dominance to spew their rhetoric on women that wear what they want, do what they want, when they want, and how they want, when they want, with whoever they want. They think this is an opportunity to spew their rhetoric and hate towards women. And I have been with men, seen men. When I say been with, it's not even about a sexual thing. Even if I have, I'm a grown ass woman that loves and enjoys sex. But men nowadays, like, they don't even take inventory of themselves. Like, you're overweight, but you can at least lose 15 pounds if you need to. Your beard is not properly groomed. And that's where I'm basing men. Like, I go for looks. And then we'll deal with the personality and the kindness afterwards, right? Because that's when you get to know them, like, oh my goodness, he is. And I'll say this for the men, like, put them in their place, right? I love sexy men. All sexy men are handsome. But not all handsome men are sexy. And when I say I go for looks, it's because, of course, men go for looks too. If you date a woman based on her looks, that not solely dating her based on her looks, that's your prerogative. But if you're the type of person that think that you dating a woman on her looks and she's supposed to submit and give in to you because she's pretty and you may think she's weak, that's a problem. Like, I go for looks, then I go for personality, and then, well, characteristics, like characteristics and personality and behavior. Like, if your characteristics and your personality and your behavior don't line up with your looks, align with your looks, I'm not interested in you. So as I was saying, is with the guy I was talking to, his beard was kind of rough and scruffy. And then I started doing research about men with beards and how they're supposed to take care of them and what can lie underneath bacteria in their beards, right? I want women to think about this. If you want to go for a man that looks good, that's well groomed, make sure that he groom his beard. Make sure that he shows you that he is capable and that he has the ability and he is into grooming his beard. That is a responsibility of his, is to keep his beard groomed. right? So I was learning and reading, beards have status too. And like, so when men, you get out there and you jump out there and say, oh my goodness, women that wear weaves and women that wear wigs, but your beard has a history, right? Some men, I was reading that men with beards back in, like, before modern, well, I don't know modern times, but when men wore beards, like, it was a sign of status, it was a sign of aggression, the length, the width, the grooming. Cause like certain point, I'm not gonna. I don't know. Maybe I don't have to get into the length of the beard, but the certain length I'm not attracted to at all. But I know that men and their beards grooming, and I don't know if it was particularly grooming, but men and their beards, it shows a sign of status, right? Beards were worn and are worn from protection from for the face from like today it's like a cold windy day but it's raining, like the beard protects their face. Like if a man was to get into a fight with a beard, it protects their face. So I don't understand when men come down so hard on women for wearing weaves and wigs, but your beard holds status, and it has continued to hold status. It shows a sign of masculinity. Like we know that if we are standing next to a man, a woman and a man are standing next to each other, we are easily can identify, pinpoint, and pick out who's the man and who's the woman. So men don't need beards. It's just probably a sign of vanity. But at the same time, it's a sign of status. It represents who the man is, and it's history behind a man wearing a beard. Just like it's history behind women, black women in particular, wearing weaves and wigs. So if a man doesn't keep his beard groomed, and to get off the point, we were sitting there laying, chilling, just cuddling. Not cuddling. I'm not gonna say cuddling because embracing. When I cuddle is a whole different word. Cuddle is it just be used out of terms. A lot of people use that word cuddle out of the terms. But we were sitting there, and I'm rubbing his beard, and I asked him, I said, yo, I thought you said you was getting your beard shaved off, and I'm feeling it, touching it, and it was like really rough. As to the point where I know that he didn't groom his beard in a while, right? Not to say that he hasn't, but I was inspecting his beard and I wasn't too happy. Like if he would have asked me, if he would have been like, yo, and he don't use words like this because we grown up adults. And if I say yo, I say yo, like, that's just the way I express myself or greet. So if he would have asked me, he would have been like, take off your wig. I would have took my wig off. I would have kept my cap on because I don't show too many people my hair for the simple fact that I was taught that your hair is your beauty. It's your crown. We wasn't like to the point where I would take off my wig for him. Like it's not like I would have came in the house and like, oh, I'm getting dressed, undressed, I'm disguised, taking off this disguise, I'm taking off this costume, I'm letting it be natural. Here I am. No, it wasn't to that point. But even if he had probably said, listen, you talking about my beard, talking about it's so rough and it's so like it needs to be groomed and I need to go to the barber shop. You do, and you should have. That's something that men should like at least invest in if they're gonna grow a beard. Keep it groomed. Don't be cheap. Take your time. Take 5 minutes. Get a beard brush, bristle, and the solutions that you need to keep your beard looking good before you diss us women about wearing weaves and wigs. Right? So what I learned is about the beards, and this is not a beard conversation, it's just giving people insight and women that are attracted to men with beards. Bacteria lurks inside of the beard. It could cause like health issues if a man don't take care of his beard. Men are being put in their place. Before you sit there and say that women have poor hygiene and women don't take care of themselves because we have a different type of body parts, right? Because we sit there, we can equally, and it would be equal to criticize you, and it would be accurate to criticize a man that doesn't care for or groom his beard. That should reflect your personality. That does reflect your hygiene. That does reflect who you are as a person. Of course, men can have off days. They're not perfect. They're not perfect at all. They are creatures of habit, just like women are creature of habits. And when I say incel, like I just feel like the incel is the one that let his and not necessarily incels, some incels that just are waiting for a chance to be loved. That's what all they waiting for is a chance to be loved and to be picked and to be considered to be someone's boyfriend or husband. But what the incels do, they want to take that and they want to turn it into something overnight. See, the incel doesn't um, value a companion. And when we say that women are should be valued, I don't know. I feel like if you cannot appreciate a companion by your side, you definitely would not be able to appreciate a woman, a wife by your side. Incels have they are all around. They live in our communities. We are probably married to them. We are probably dating them, which I have met a lot of incels. And I'm going to tell you, women, it's not easy. It's not a comfortable feeling to be around incels, right? Because they have this personality and they have this certain behaviors that they portray where you be like, oh hell no, I would never ever love you. You are unlovable. And I love everybody in the moment. And when I get to know them, I'm like, oh hell no. Your your behavior is despicable. You're a horrible person. You should not be around in the public causing harm or may inflict harm to someone else, such as a human being. And that's how I feel like men should be put in a place. You have to know how to put them in a place in a decent way and where they in a way they can understand it. Because a lot of men lack knowledge and understanding of what's going on around them. They don't want to. And I'm not here to say that. Oh, who are you, Bronx girl, to think that you could sit there and put men in a place? Because this is just my opinions and my knowledge and my experience with the men that I'm talking about. I'm only putting the men in their place that I've been with. And I say been with, got to know, didn't get to know. The men that I see out in the open so fast to put a woman in their place. Um, Men have a habit of just feeling that. Oh, and another thing, man, as I put you in your place, and I don't even think I'm being harsh. I think I'm being a little bit shy about what I want to say. I just want to at least get this off the ground about putting men in their place, because usually I write this stuff down to say what I want to say. Another thing that men do that women should not even answer to. And when I say I put men in a place, I put men in a place. You know how men sit there who has no imagination, lack creativity, don't have a healthy mindset, do not want to think outside the box. It's probably a little bit easier for them to conform to society ways because these rules have been built from them ever since they were born. My son has conformed to society and he has embedded some of the rules of society of how women should be treated and how women should be viewed. As a mother, I do at least try to tell my oldest son, who is about to be a grown man soon, like, listen, develop decent, healthy relationships with your female friends. That will set you apart from every other man. You would definitely enjoy becoming friends with a woman that you are or may not be sexually attracted to. And you don't have to keep them around forever. They don't have to stick around to find out. Or you don't have to stick around to find out if this friendship would develop into something healthy. You will know. And you're not going to waste your time like trying to figure out if it's going to work or not. You'll let them know like this is not working out. But I did let my sons know, both of my sons know, who is in their 20s, one in their early 20s and one in their late 20s. Develop healthy friendships with the women that you are interested in. Develop healthy relationships with women that you're not interested in. Have healthy relationships with female friends, female women friends, ladies, however. So when men decide to jump out and say to women, or bold enough to ask a woman, listen, what's your body count? I haven't had any man ask me that. I don't think. I give them that much. I haven't had a man that's so immature to think that he can ask me what's my body count and I'm supposed to tell him. So when a man say that, women, beautiful ladies, have an answer for him. Don't ever answer that question. That goes into his thinking. I would think of him differently, but no, this is not going to work. Um, I don't think that line of questioning is appropriate, and I'm not even appealed to it. It just goes to show me that you're worried about something that you shouldn't be worried about, that has no bearings on you or me. If you want to go get checked out, if he asks you what's your body count before him saying that he want to, you know, start a sexual relationship with you, and he don't like bring up the fact that he want both of you to go get checked out, for goodness sake, to see if you are okay to, so if it's a green light to go and jump into bed and, you know, of course do it responsibly, then you know that he needs to be not considered a part of your fray. If you're going to date them all, date them with conscious, date them with you know, responsibility. And dating them all is no different from having options. So you just reframing it and rephrasing it in a whole different way. But what I want to say is, before I end this live, is usually men, man, you put them in their place. Don't be afraid to put men in their place. When a man say to you, listen, what's your body count? I will say to them, are you bisexual? Throw them right off. Because with men, and I'm not saying all men are bisexual, I'm not saying all men are attracted to men, I'm not saying every man is attracted, no, I'm not saying that. But the fact that men think that they can just come out with this outlandish and absurd question as if it's comforting their securities, or we're feeding their egos, because we're not here to feed your insecurities or your ego. If we're going to strike or stroke your ego, it's going to be in a healthy way, like go exercise, let's exercise together, eat better, or you know, those trappings come later on in a relationship. If women want to trap men into being the man that they want them to be, it takes time and it's hard, and you do it in doses. You don't do it overnight. You feed them crumbs, and when I say crumbs, I mean in a healthy way, not to mislead the man, not to lead the man on, but to gain his trust, to so he can see that you are the woman that he thought or want to be with. And this is called lifestyle changes and doses, and a little bit of tiny ways that you feel or see fit to do it. But with men, and you asking them, are you bisexual? Have you ever been with a man? Do you consider yourself to be with a man? I mean, would you consider yourself to be bisexual? Have you ever been with a man? Most, like, and with men, when you ask them that question, it's depending on their answer. If they say, yo, and because I have asked men, are they, I don't ask them, have they ever been with a man? I don't ask them, are they gay? I ask them to at least lighten the load, is if you are bisexual. Whether they decide to tell you the truth or not, we know as women, and we know, and they know as men, we would never know if they're bisexual or not. And that's what I mean, right? By putting men in their place. If he decides to answer honestly, it's up to the woman to decide if she want to pursue something or not. That's it. That's all, right? Men don't realize that their line of questioning could also be pushed back with a line of questioning. You want to get to know me? I want to get to know you. I have had, I have accused men of being bisexual. I'm like, oh, you know what? You bisexual. And they're like, no, I'm not. I'm like, but I would never know if you are. So you could lie if you want to, and it's okay. No, it's not okay, because I do want to have that option of saying, like, listen, okay, I'm still attracted to you if you are bisexual or not. But, you know, I'm just letting you know, if you are bisexual, no one will ever know that you are bisexual if you have never acted on it. How would anyone know if you're bisexual? And I have said this to men to trap them, to let them know, listen, stop playing these games with us women. and I'm not speaking for all women, because all women would not date bisexual men or even consider asking them, or even though think that's a thought, or even to think of asking a man, are you bisexual, instead of being or asking them, have you ever been with a man, or are you gay? Right? Give them some leeway, give them a little bit, uh, 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 make them comfortable to know that you are a person that they could come talk to and feel safe with. Like, make them feel uncomfortable, but make them think twice too before they even consider answering the question or giving thought into the question. Like, okay, what was, I know she's not trying to be funny. I think she's that serious by asking me if I'm bisexual. But like she said, no one will ever know, and how will I know? So that'll determine if they want to at least answer or not answer. But if the man answer yes, I'm bisexual, and he's open and honest, then there you have it. At least you have a start to an honest, open, effective relationship. Every man I ask is are, because I haven't asked that many men if they are bisexual. Any men that I have ever asked if they were bisexual, or even hinted at, like, oh, you're probably bisexual. That's okay. I accept you for who you are, because I do. But not all men. Sorry, not all men get accepted for who they are. At least give them a sense of security and safety with you, not to shame them for who they are, or what they prefer, or what they like. Right? It's a mind game, and it's not a mind game to hurt the person or harm the person or be malicious. It's a little, these little trappings that we set up for men and women, women and men, to at least make them feel comfortable and coming and speaking about what bothers them the most. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that all the men that I have was trash. Like, most of them that I don't have was not something that I would pursue anything with. But deep down inside, when a man feel comfortable and open with you to the point where he can cry with you and his vulnerabilities, and be open with you, and you don't use that to his against him, is definitely okay. And what I will say to us women, beautiful women that have to deal with so much hostility and anger and aggression from men that don't know any better, or if they do know any better, they just don't care. If you are with someone and you with a man, like, the easiest way, and I'm not saying that it's a burden, like, to reduce the burden on the man, and for him to be able to accept more responsibility, because he don't feel like he has this large burden that's placed on him to lead, to be a provider, to be a protector. You definitely have to let a man know, in some ways, more ways than one, when you put him in his place, is, listen, baby, sweetheart, honey, babe, however you, I call them by their name when I'm serious. Like, I'll be like, okay, John Doe, you don't have to be so strong, right? You just suffered a major loss in your life. You just endured, and you are enduring grief. Grief is a process. You don't have to be strong. And that'll let him know from there, like, okay, at least I have a safe place to go when I want to talk to someone about my real feelings. Men, and then I hear the memes that women say, well, men lie, cry, and fall out, but they still cheat on you. That has nothing to do with that. You know, you have to know who you're dealing with and talking to. Not all the time, I believe, when a man cry, he's crying for real, or he's serious. But I do take it in consideration. But even if he's faking crying, or even if he's not, like, faking, I do indicate and let him know that, listen, you don't have to be strong. You are allowed to express your pain and suffering. You don't have to suffer in silence. Um, and that's how we open the doors of communication, and that's how we build trust. Trust builds love, and love builds trust. So, with that being said, I think I spoke for a good I don't know, 63 minutes. I appreciate my audience for listening and tuning in for this long. I do want to gather the attention of an audience over a period of time, hit those 500 subscribers. I appreciate everyone that hit the like button and that just tuned in for this portion of insight and perspective. I appreciate you, and I hope we grow together. Most definitely grow together. If you have any feedback and any comments, if you want to know anything, you can leave it in my comment section. I think I'm going to have the line of communication open, or at least try to drop the link. But with that being said, I would like to say thank you to everyone that listened to my insight and my perspective. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna cry. If I cry, it's because of Lasagna and Lou. You guys are the best. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful.